There will come a moment in your life when a stranger appears out of nowhere at just the right time, with just the right words, or the exact help you never even knew you needed. This isn't a coincidence. It's not luck, it's something greater, something divine. Too often, people pray for a breakthrough, for an answer, for a way out of their struggles. But when the help arrives in a form they didn't expect, they walk right past it, dismissing it as random or unimportant. What if that one stranger you ignored was the very person sent to change your life? This message isn't about superstition or wild theories. It's about recognizing the subtle ways God works through people, through moments, through seemingly ordinary encounters that hold extraordinary purpose. Many have missed their blessings simply because they weren't paying attention. In this journey, you will uncover why these strangers appear, how to recognize them, and what to do when the moment comes. Because when divine intervention knocks, it rarely comes in the way you expect. And missing it, that could mean missing the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Some of the greatest blessings in life arrive wrapped in the unfamiliar. A helping hand from a person you've never met before, a conversation with a stranger that shifts your entire perspective, or an unexpected opportunity that seems too perfectly timed to be random. These moments aren't accidents. They are orchestrated by something far beyond human control. Divine intervention doesn't always come as a booming voice from the sky or a miraculous event that defies logic. More often, it appears in the form of an ordinary person stepping into your path at the exact moment you need them, a stranger with words of wisdom that speak directly to your situation, a new connection that leads to a door you never thought would open, a small act of kindness that restores hope when you're on the verge of giving up. Throughout history, people have encountered these divine helpers without even realizing it. Someone gets lost on the way home only to meet a stranger who gives life-changing advice. A struggling business owner meets a person in line at a coffee shop who offers a connection that turns everything around. A passerby stops to encourage someone on the brink of despair, unknowingly saving a life. These moments feel random, but they are anything but. There is a reason some people cross your path at just the right time. There is a reason a conversation with someone you never expected to meet feels strangely significant. These encounters serve a higher purpose. But here's where many go wrong: they ignore them. They assume that a stranger's words don't matter. They walk past the very help they've been praying for. Everyday life is full of distractions, rushing from one thing to the next, scrolling endlessly, consumed by problems that seem to have no solution. But what if the answer is already there, waiting in the form of an unexpected meeting? What if the breakthrough isn't coming from where you expected, but from where you least expected? Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. Some people appear for a brief moment, yet their impact can last forever. Some come to deliver a message, a blessing, a new direction. And those who are open to receiving it, they are the ones who experience transformation beyond anything they could have planned for themselves. Throughout history, divine assistance has often arrived through unexpected messengers. Scripture is filled with moments where God used ordinary people, strangers, outcasts, even enemies to guide, protect, and bless those in need. These stories weren't just written for the past. They serve as reminders that help can come from where it's least expected, even today. Abraham, a man chosen to be the father of nations, once entertained three strangers who appeared out of nowhere. He welcomed them, showed them kindness, and offered them food. What he didn't realize at first was that these weren't ordinary travelers. They carried a divine message, one that changed his destiny. Without knowing it, he had entertained angels, A moment later echoed in the words of Hebrews 13:2, urging people not to neglect hospitality, for some have unknowingly hosted messengers of God. Another powerful example comes from Elijah. During a severe drought, he had no food, no resources, and nowhere to turn. God didn't send him to a wealthy king or a powerful ruler for help. Instead, he was led to a poor widow gathering sticks for what she believed would be her last meal. This woman, a complete stranger, had barely enough to survive, yet she followed a divine nudge to help Elijah. Because of her willingness to serve, her jar of flour never ran empty, and her oil never ran dry. She received the very miracle she needed by providing for someone she had no reason to trust. Even Jesus himself, in one of his most famous parables, taught the power of unexpected assistance. A man left beaten on the side of the road was ignored by those who were expected to help the religious leaders, the so-called righteous. Instead, it was a Samaritan, an outsider, who stopped, showed compassion, and changed the man's life. This wasn't just a lesson on kindness, it was a clear message that divine help often comes through the least likely people. These accounts aren't just historical events, they reflect how God moves through people, even today. Strangers may appear with guidance, with provision, with an answer that seems too perfectly timed to be a coincidence. Ignoring these moments means missing out on the very blessings that have been set in place long before they were ever needed. A man was traveling down a dangerous road when he was attacked, beaten, and left for dead. Helpless and alone, he lay there as people passed by people who should have stopped, people who were expected to help. A priest walked past him. A Levite, a religious figure, also saw him but chose to continue on his way. These were men of status, men of faith, yet neither one extended a hand. Then came a Samaritan, someone from a group despised by the very people who had ignored the injured man. He had every reason to walk away. Social norms would have justified it, but instead he stopped. He knelt beside the man, bandaged his wounds, lifted him up, and took him to a safe place to recover. He didn't just do the minimum, he went beyond, paying for the man's care and ensuring he would be looked after. This parable wasn't just a story about kindness. It shattered expectations. It showed that help often comes from unexpected places. The people most assumed to be compassionate turned away, while the one who was least likely to stop became the source of healing. Many wait for help to come in a certain way from a familiar face or a trusted friend. But sometimes the answer arrives through a stranger, someone completely outside of expectations. This is how divine assistance often works. It doesn't follow human assumptions. It doesn't rely on status, titles, or familiar connections. It moves through those who are willing, those who listen to the call, to step in when no one else will. Opportunities to be both the giver and receiver of help happen every day. There are moments when someone desperately needs a hand, but the people expected to help turn away. And then there are times when an unlikely source appears a stranger with the right words, the right actions, at the right time. Ignoring these moments means missing a chance to either give or receive something life-changing. The lesson from this parable isn't just about doing good. It's about recognizing that the answer someone has been praying for may not look the way they expected. It may not come from the person they thought it would. But when it arrives, it should never be ignored. A woman stranded on the side of the road late at night watches car after car speed past. She has no phone service, no way to call for help. Just when fear starts to set in, a man pulls over. He's a complete stranger, but instead of passing by like the others, he steps out, offers assistance, and gets her back on the road. Before she can properly thank him, he's already gone. A man sitting alone in a coffee shop stares at his laptop, overwhelmed by financial struggles and a failing business. A stranger notices, sits down, and starts a casual conversation. Within minutes, that conversation turns into advice. The kind of advice that leads to an idea, then an opportunity, and eventually a breakthrough. What started as a chance meeting became the turning point that changed everything. These aren't rare occurrences. They happen every single day. Help arrives in unexpected ways, through people who have no logical reason to step in, yet something compels them to do so. These moments are often dismissed as luck, coincidence, or a simple act of kindness. But what if they are something more? What if they are carefully placed interventions designed to shift the course of someone's life? Strangers often appear at just the right moment, carrying exactly what's needed: guidance, support, resources, or even just a message that brings clarity in a time of confusion. The problem is, most people fail to recognize these encounters for what they truly are. They assume that if help isn't coming from a known source, it isn't meant for them. They hesitate, doubt, or refuse to accept assistance, not realizing that by doing so, they may be walking away from a divinely orchestrated answer. Some of the most life-changing moments happen in the least expected ways. A conversation in an elevator, a chance meeting on a flight, a moment of desperation met by an outstretched hand from someone who had no reason to care. These are not random events. They are pieces of a larger plan, reminders that help is always available, even if it comes from a stranger whose face you may never see again. Help doesn't always come with a grand announcement. Sometimes it arrives quietly, disguised as a small gesture, a few words, or an unexpected meeting. It's easy to overlook these moments, to dismiss them as nothing more than ordinary interactions. But there are times when a stranger's presence carries something deeper: an answer, a message, or a push in the right direction. A conversation with someone you've never met before suddenly speaks directly to what you've been struggling with. A piece of advice comes at the exact moment you need clarity. A door opens through a connection you never saw coming. These aren't just coincidences. They are signals placed in the right place at the right time, guiding you towards something greater. Discerning divine intervention isn't about waiting for dramatic signs. It's about paying attention. It's that unshakable feeling when an encounter feels too meaningful to be random. It's the way a stranger's words align perfectly with a question you've been silently asking. It's the sense of peace that follows an unexpected act of kindness. Moments like these hold weight, and those who are willing to see them for what they are often find that they were never walking alone. Doubt is one of the biggest barriers to recognizing divine intervention. Many assume that if something isn't grand or supernatural, it must be ordinary. But throughout history, the most powerful shifts have come through simple moments: one person crossing paths with another, offering what was needed without even knowing why. Ignoring these moments can mean missing out on the very thing that was meant to lead to breakthrough. Being open to these encounters doesn't mean blindly accepting everything or trusting everyone. It means listening, observing, and allowing space for the unexpected. Not every interaction will carry deep meaning, but when something feels significant, when an encounter leaves a mark, it's worth pausing and asking if there's more to it. Some of the greatest blessings in life arrive through the least expected people. Paying attention to those moments, staying open to the unexpected, and being willing to receive help when it comes can lead to life-changing shifts that no plan or prediction could have ever prepared for. Doubt is natural when help comes from an unfamiliar face. The world teaches caution, warns against trusting too easily, and reminds people that not everyone has good intentions. While wisdom is necessary, there's a fine line between being cautious and being closed off to the very help that was meant to bring transformation. Fear often whispers that accepting help makes a person weak or vulnerable. Pride can convince someone that they should handle everything alone, that needing assistance is a sign of failure. Then there's the hesitation that comes from past experience as times when trust was broken, when help came with strings attached, or when intentions weren't pure. These experiences can build walls, making it difficult to see when genuine help is standing right in front of them. True discernment isn't about shutting every door or rejecting every hand that reaches out. It's about knowing when to step forward and when to step back. Not every stranger is sent as a blessing, but neither is every stranger a threat. There is wisdom in being careful, but there is also wisdom in knowing when an opportunity is too divinely timed to ignore. Recognizing genuine help starts with alignment. When a person arrives with the right words at the right time, when advice speaks directly to an unspoken need, when a stranger offers something that answers a silent prayer, these moments shouldn't be dismissed too quickly. Still, caution should always be paired with discernment. Quick emotional decisions can lead to regret, but thoughtful observation can bring clarity. Trust is built through consistency. A stranger who is sent for a purpose will not force, manipulate, or pressure. Their presence will bring peace, not confusion. Their words will confirm, not control. They won't demand trust. They will simply offer what they've been placed to offer, whether it's guidance, encouragement, or an open door. Living in fear of deception can lead to missing the very opportunities designed to bring breakthrough. The key is balance, being alert without being closed off, being wise without being hardened, being open without being naive. The right help, when it comes, will carry clarity, and those who are willing to see it will recognize when the moment is real. Case. It doesn't stay in one place. It spreads. When help is accepted with gratitude, it often inspires the receiver to become the giver. The person who was once in need becomes the person who steps up when someone else is struggling. And just like that, a single moment of generosity grows into something much greater than itself. Rejecting help doesn't just affect one person, it can break a cycle before it even begins. Pride, fear, or hesitation can stop a blessing in its tracks. But accepting what is freely given allows the impact to continue. What may seem like a small gesture today could be the beginning of someone else's breakthrough tomorrow. A simple meal given to someone hungry can inspire them to help others when they are able. A kind word spoken at the right moment can shift a person's mindset, leading them to encourage others in return. A stranger's willingness to help in a time of need can plant a seed of generosity that continues growing long after the moment has passed. Giving and receiving are both part of the same cycle. Being open to receiving help is just as important as offering it. Those who have been lifted up have a responsibility to extend that same kindness to others. The more people allow themselves to be part of this cycle, the more lives are changed, and the more the world becomes a place where help, hope, and compassion never stop moving forward. At some point in life, everyone has experienced a moment when help arrived unexpectedly. A situation where the right person stepped in at the right time, offering exactly what was needed. Maybe it was a stranger who covered a small expense when money was short. Maybe it was a kind word from someone who had no idea how much it was needed. Maybe it was an opportunity that seemed to come out of nowhere, yet changed everything. These moments often pass quickly, and in the rush of life, they can be easy to forget. But looking back, it becomes clear that they weren't just random events. They were placed with purpose. Each act of kindness, each word of encouragement, each unexpected hand that reached out, none of it was accidental. Thinking about these moments brings a powerful realization. Just as help has been received, there will be opportunities to give. Just as someone appeared at the right time to make a difference, there will be times when another person will need the same. The impact of that one moment doesn't have to end where it started. Sharing these experiences is more than just telling a story. It serves as a reminder to others that help is always near, even when it's least expected. It encourages those who feel alone to stay open, to recognize the ways divine intervention works through people. It strengthens faith in the idea that no one is truly forgotten, and that when the time comes, the right help will always find its way. Some moments in life feel impossible to navigate alone. Struggles pile up, and solutions seem out of reach. But even in those times, there is always an answer on the way. It may come through a stranger's kindness, a sudden shift in direction, or an unexpected encounter that changes everything. Reflecting on the help that has been received in the past makes it easier to trust that more will come in the future. It also serves as a reminder to stay open, to listen, and to be aware of the people crossing paths in unexpected ways. Because just as help has come before, it will come again. The only question is whether it will be recognized when it does. Help often arrives in ways that don't fit expectations. A stranger with the right words, a moment of kindness at the perfect time, a door opening when all others seemed closed. These aren't just coincidences. They are reminders that no one is ever truly alone, that answers are always on the way, even if they come through unexpected hands. Every person has a role to play in this cycle. Sometimes they are the ones in need of help. Other times they are the ones sent to help someone else. The key is to stay open, to recognize when a moment carries more meaning than it seems, and to act when the opportunity arises. Ignoring these moments means walking past something that was never meant to be missed. But those who are willing to receive, to give, and to trust the timing of divine intervention will always find themselves exactly where they need to be. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience might be the inspiration someone else needs today.